Good morning. I am Renugadevi. I am working as an assistant professor in Dr. SNS Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. I belong to Business Administration Department. Students, today we are going to discuss about the income from house property. That topic only we are going to discuss right now. Okay. So first of all, what do you mean by house property? I just give the introduction about the house property. Okay. So suppose if you are any person, they are going to let their house or any building or any kind of materials or anything they are going to let out. Let out is nothing but the they are going to living for the rent. Okay, so that purpose we have to receive the income. That income is called the house property income. It is nothing but the we are collecting the rent from the rental or tenant person. Okay, so the income from house property is nothing but it is a income earned by an individual person. Suppose we are call it as mainly we call it as a rent. Okay, so through the ownership of a property which may consist of a residential building or kind of a flat or shop or any vacant land. So these are the some important property which they have to receive the amount. That amount is call it as the income from house property. It's otherwise call it as a rent. Okay, next we move to what are the types involved in the house property. Okay, so we are having the two important types under the house property. Let us discuss about the types. First one, namely self-occupied house property, and secondly, we call it as a let-out house property. Okay, so self-occupied house property is nothing but any individual person they have to resident in the self-occupied for the home. Okay, so the let-out house property is nothing but we have to let the house for some different persons like a tenant. Okay, so the self-occupied house property we have to clearly mention it is a property occupied by the taxpayer or any assessee for the residential purpose only. Okay, so the owner of the such property does not earn any rental income from this category of property, because that self-occupied is nothing but as an assessee or the taxpayer, they are going to occupied by self-residential purpose. Okay, so it's clear. So the self-occupied is nothing but they have to occupy their house for their residential purpose, not for the rental income. Students, clear? So the residential purpose only they are occupied for as an individual person. So that type of house is called it as a self-occupied property. Actually, it is includes a property being used for sometime it is a commercial purpose. It is exclusive. Okay. In case the commercial purpose, now automatically it is coming under the rental. Okay. So as per the income tax law, a person can claim a maximum of two houses as self-occupied. It is eligible. Okay, so hence these properties will not be subject to tax on the national or notational rental income. Okay, however, this rule is applied to each of the taxpayer or the assessee separately and not to a family as a unit. Okay, so this is the important implication of the self-occupied property. Okay, next we move to tax implication. So under this concept, it is considered to generate the zero notational rent. Okay, so however the owner of such kind of property can claim some deduction on interest paid as well as the principal amount. Okay, so this is the way we have to calculate the tax implication under the self-occupied property. Next, we move to the let out property. Okay, so under this property, either we are letting for the lease or rented. Okay, so this could be residential such as maybe the namely call it as apartment or house or any commercial purpose or rental or retail space. Okay, so based on this only we have to letting the property, they might be getting the imposing on tax, we have to collecting for the particular income is called the self or the let out property such as home loan, property tax and repair also. Okay, next we move to the implication under the let out property. So under this property, that particular income generated from the rent received from a property is taxable under the house property income. So it is considered as a GAV, gross annual value. That rent will be making in the owner receive the rent. The owner could be reasonably expected. Okay, so whichever is higher, that only we have to take it for the calculation.